Hello, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this video. This is a Focus Friday video, and for the month of October we're going to be focusing on heat embossing. So today we're going to just look at very simple, straightforward heat embossing. So you might have seen heat embossing on cars and you've wondered, how do I heat emboss? Well, this is the video for you, because I'm going to show you very easily how to heat emboss a simple sentiment. Now this is the card I've made before, and this says thanks, and you can see the heat emboss and you've got all that lovely shine, and this uses the copper metallic embossing powder from Stampin' Up. So let me show you how to heat emboss. Okay, first you're going to need a stamp set. The stamp set I'm going to use today is Biggest Wish, and we're going to use again the one that says thanks. So set that aside. You are going to need your embossing buddy or powder tool or something. I prefer to do this because it will stop any static on your card, and your powder should only stick where you've got your sticky ink. So we're just going to rub this all over our cardstock, and this is just normal basic white cardstock that I have here in my Stamparatus. So there we go. Stamp set is waiting here. The ink we're going to use is this one called Versamarker ink, and now this is a sticky ink, and this will allow our embossing powder to stick. You can also use this for watermarking. There's lots of different things you can do with your Versamarker ink, and as you can see it's just a clear sticky ink, so you want to really ink up your sentiment well, which I do. Give it a really good ink up because you want that powder to stick. And then down, and again give it a good press. Make sure everything is really stuck. Now you won't be able to see, but I can see here an impression of my stamp. Now I'm going to bring in my, I've just got here a coffee filter and my copper embossing powder, and I'm just going to pour it over just like that. Your embossing powder will come in a little pot like this, and you'll think that it's not enough powder, but a little goes a long, long way. And you can see there. Now if you want to just tap off just gently all the excess like that. And if there's any powder in a place you don't want, you can just use a little paintbrush to get rid of any excess powder. I'm just going to give it another layer there. Tap, 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 tap. That looks fine to me. So now we're going to attempt to put the powder back in our little potty. Take your time doing this, otherwise you will get powder everywhere. Don't ask me how I know that. And now you're going to heat set it, so there's going to be some noise. I'm going to turn the noise down. I'm going to let my heat tool heat up for about 30 seconds, and then I'm going to bring it to my sentiment. So you can see here the thanks, and how you know it's done is that the dull powder changes to this shiny metallic colour, and then you know it's done, and you can feel it if you touch it here. Now it's cool, it's slightly raised. Now a few things to be aware of when you're heat embossing. You are using heat, so don't stick your finger in the hot embossing powder. Let it cool down for a few seconds, and then you can touch it. If you do it too early, firstly you'll smudge it, secondly there's a chance you'll burn your fingers, so don't do that. Secondly, the reason we let the heat tool heat up before we take it to the embossing is that there's less chance then of the heat tool blowing the powder all over the place if you do it that way. Secondly, the other reason as well is that you can also heat it from the bottom like this, and this will then ensure that the powder doesn't blow away. So that's some tips and tricks. Now we're going to cut this out using the deckled rectangular dies. Let's find one that fits. Let's see what I used before. don't think I used that one. I thought I used the next size. The next size is up. There's a ton of these dies, yep. So we're going to cut that out of that, and then I'm doing a different colourway because I'm going to cut some of this out, which is soft succulent. This card base here is evening evergreen, but we're going to do a soft succulent this time, so I'm going to cut that out and I'll be back. Okay, so I've cut out our pieces and layered them up, and on the back I've put a piece of our foam adhesive sheet. So now we're going to do our card. Card base is soft succulent, a standard A6 card base. That's an A4 sheet cut in half, then folded in half. And we're going to use the other side of the designer series paper this time. We're going to use the side that has more evening evergreen in it. I'm just going to put that down like that. And on the inside I have some plain basic white cardstock, and this is just going to be our insert, and then we're just going to take the backing off our adhesive sheet, our foam sheet, and plonk this down on the front. You can see how the heat embossing just gives it that lovely wow factor. Doesn't really need a lot else. We're going to do a little bit of finishing touches, and that is, here's some champagne rhinestones, and I'm just going to put one in each of the four corners. It's a trick I like to do, that they almost look like they're pinning your sentiment down, even though they're not. There you go. So that's how you do a simple heat embossed sentiment. So I really hope you enjoyed that. Which paper do you like? Do you like this more bright paper, this more tonal paper? Let me know which pattern you prefer, A or B. I should have said this paper, the design series paper, is a lovely linen paper, and it is truly lovely. So I hope that's given you an insight into how to heat emboss. If you've got any questions, any comments, please do leave them below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you wanted more information about this project, or the supply list, etc., it's all on the blog post on my website, and the links to that and all my social media links are in the description box below. So thank you again, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye.